Welcome to Live Palace News. It's me, Dee, and I'm joined by Patrick here to discuss all the latest surrounding the club. The game against Brighton remains postponed, and Tyrick Mitchell's contract situation. Could he be in for a new contract already after signing a new deal just only last year? But before we get into the show, this has been the first show at Back of the Nest since the passing of the Queen. So everyone at Back of the Nest sends their condolences to everyone who's been involved with the passing, to the royal family, and to every single person. It's been a hard time in the country as well, so we understand that. We didn't post any content during the weekend, but now, of course, there's Palace News coming out. I know some people look forward to these shows, so we thought we'll record this show. But yeah, once again, condolences to everyone at the royal family and everyone that's been impacted by that news. Patrick, Palace. Yes. We haven't had Palace this weekend. It's been a crazy last 3-4 days. The Premier League postponed. Our game got postponed as well. But there's news. So the Brighton game was already postponed. We knew that due to the train action, there was a strike going on. But that strike actually got cancelled because of the Queen's passing. They said that with the respects involved, that they wanted to cancel the strikes involved. So the reason why our game got cancelled, that didn't impact us anymore. But despite that, the game still is cancelled and postponed over the weekend. That's a correct word to use. What do you make of the news? Are you surprised by it?
No, not really. There are 3 matches postponed: the United Leeds game, Chelsea, Liverpool, and ours. And doing a little bit of research, those are all considered to be Category A fixtures for policing issues, meaning they're high priority. Obviously, United Leeds being a rival, a bitter rival. Chelsea, Liverpool also being a bitter rival, and of course us and Brighton being a bitter rival. So in the past, there's always been policing issues around Palace. I mean, the rail strike was a stupid reason to call it off, honestly, because of the fact that people are taking coaches down, and other ways of getting their driving down. Brighton is not that far from London. I know Palace fans actually live in Sussex and near Brighton. They could have gone to the game pretty easily. So, but the policing issue, honestly, with the Queen's passing, which is obviously in everyone's mind, I can understand that you're going to be needing resources for the Monday funeral. There's also going to be dignitaries flying in. I know the President of the United States is flying in there, Joe Biden flying in for the. So a lot going on. So I understand, honestly, why those 3 fixtures would have been postponed. Because again, they're high level as far as policing, and you're not going to have enough people. And God forbid something happens at those matches, as far as violence wise, you don't need that with the weekend of the Queen's funeral. So I do understand that. I'm disappointed, obviously. That'll be 4 weeks, I guess. We come back October 1st. Will be our first match against Chelsea. It's a long time without games. I'm looking on the bright side there. Man, I always try to be positive. We've got quite a few injuries. People like Tyrick, kind of niggly. You got Mac out. Tompkins. I saw Tompkins today in the video, training videos back. We get some players back from the injury. Butland was on the bike. He might be back in it. If we get players back, and let's not make the best out of it, because you can't do nothing about it anyway. Complaining about it is great, but it doesn't solve any problems. So it's off. Let's just move on.
Yeah, for me, look, the initial postponement was where I got more frustrated than this one, because they were acting like it's only the East Croydon to Brighton. That's where the train strikes happen, where it happened all over the country, and our game was the only one that got postponed. That's what annoyed me the most. But looking at everything that's been going on, and plus there's another thing, which even though the train strikes are not going ahead, and let's say there wasn't a policing matter, there's also a rescheduling matter. I think it would be very hard for the Premier League to say, your game got cancelled, and 2 weeks later say, all right, the game's back on. Yeah, it's too hard, because there's logistics involved in terms of TV. There's fans that have to book accommodation and plan traveling as well. So for me, it was always going to be postponed. Like, there's no way they were going to change it, if this incident didn't happen. But what have you made of the Premier League in itself postponement? So now general chat, because there's been a debate that's been going on, people saying that it would have been better if we paid our respects in the grounds, if we sang the national anthem, if there was like tributes on the screen, and the game shouldn't be cancelled. For me, Patrick, I understand why it was cancelled, because it happened all of a sudden. Of course, she was 96 years old. Death is inevitable. One day we're all going to die. Right. But still, due to the manner, 70 years as Queen, I understand the respects. Also with Prince William, now the Prince of Wales, being involved with the FA, with the respect side of things. Right. But for you, Patrick, did you agree with the decision to postpone the games over this weekend? We should have faced Manchester United on Sunday if it wasn't postponed.
Right. I think there was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction from the football Premier League to cancel the games. I mean, they canceled all the way down to grassroots. I don't see why they did that much. We all knew it was going to get postponed the week of her funeral, which makes total sense, funeral. So for me, they've been better off playing the games this past weekend and canceling the games coming up, because then you don't have 2 weeks of fixtures that you're backed up. So I get the idea of it being of them thinking about it, but honestly, there was no need to cancel the game this week. You're absolutely right, D. She passed away on the Thursday. I was watching some matches. I was watching the West Ham game. See what the fans did when it happened. Started singing "God Save the Queen," and there were tributes going on. Arsenal game. I was watching that game. Those players at halftime came around the centre circle. Moment of silence. So cricket went on. I'm a cricket fan. Cricket went on. They postponed the first day, but the Sunday and today's game went on. Horse racing went on. They did postpone some events, but for me, for football to be off, it didn't make, again, it was, to me, it was more of a knee-jerk reaction. I get, you make a great point. Obviously, longest reigning monarch in history, her grandson is the head of the FA and all that stuff. I get all that, but to me, they knew they were going to postpone matches at some point. There's a very tight window with the World Cup coming up, etc. And it's not just about football, but in this case, they could have easily, to me, played these games, so just proper respect to the Queen this past weekend, and then a weekend coming up, just postpone all the matches and have that 1 week. So now they put themselves in a position where teams like us, Chelsea, Brighton, Leeds, United, not going to make up 2 matches in a window where there is no room for those games to be made up. I mean, Brighton and Palace aren't in Europe, so there might be somewhere we can make it up. But Chelsea, United, they're in Europe. Liverpool, they're in Europe. They're going to have no way. Let's get they get knocked out of one of the domestic cups to making those games up. It's going to be
playing. We've got Man United, who's in Europe as well. So
exactly.
We'll see how that goes in terms of the rescheduling of
me,
that game that was meant to be played on Sunday.
Right. So for me, like I said, they could have done it better, different. But the government does things that the government wants to do. There is no rhyme, no reason for doing things sometimes. There you go. Okay. So, I mean,
exactly. CJ says as well, the government said the games could go ahead, but the Premier League decided to cancel the games.
Right.
Look, it's happened. You can't change the past. There are still going to be Premier League games in this weekend. Of course, no Palace it's going to be for a month. There's 2 ways of looking at Palace. Patrick. It could go. I mean, you are Mr. Palace now. It could go to one. The rest side of it is good, but then again, if other teams are playing, they could be more match fit than us when the game comes along. There's that side of things. Look, for me, I don't mind a month off Palace. Of course, it's going to be hard to do content here. We're going to be providing you the latest updates. And if you're watching this on replay, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because I forgot to mention that as well. Look, a month for Palace it'll be fine for the club in terms of bringing back injuries. We'll see how they react in the first game back against Chelsea. It's not going to be an easy game. They've got Graham Potter as well.
New manager.
Yeah, exactly. New manager. Brighton are finished, which is a positive. So it's not all bad news, Graham Potter's gone to Chelsea. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But CJ says football is a working class sport, but it's the only sport that got cancelled.
Yes,
which is quite
strange.
Funny.
Yeah.
And it has an impact on people as well. Look, people use football as an escape from real life. Many people got problems that they can escape with just by watching football and going to the ground.
Right.
So that had another negative impact on people's mental health. So it was not a case of just cancelling games. It was bigger than that. There's local businesses that rely on these games to go on in terms of supporting them during this cost of living crisis. There's people's mental health. So it is a big call. It was a big call. But in all honesty, I don't think they think about all the factors that we're talking about. For them to cancel the games is as simple as, yes, this has happened. We have to cancel the games, rather than looking at the bigger picture. And that's what I don't think they've done. It was such a quick decision, but I guess it's not easy. It's not easy to make them decisions as well. CJ saying, when are we going to play these games? Some teams might have to forfeit games. I don't think we will have to forfeit games. I think whatever happens, even if it's a game like back to back, they will still manage to play them. But realistically, Patrick, I think these games are going to be played in January onwards. The World Cup is in December, November.
Right.
There's much time between that period. We've still got the Carabao Cup as well. So I don't see these games being played, especially the Brighton Palace, the Manchester United Palace one as well, before the end of this year. I just don't see it happening because I don't know where they fit in.
Yeah, but also I was watching a couple of other content creators today, and they said that why not just extend the season? It's not like we're waiting. Not only is the World Cup this summer, because the World Cup's in the winter. So there's no reason why we can't just tack them on at the end. It's not ideal in any situation, but it is a solution. Because again, if you're going to jam games in Tuesday, Thursday, weekend, that's going to be tough for some teams. Not honestly for us because we're not in Europe, but honestly, that could really hurt our League Cup chances possibly if you're going to be playing game. You know what I mean? Let's go for it. I know the game at Newcastle was a weekday game, right? The League Cup.
Yeah, weekday. Yep.
What if they put like the United game on the Thursday too? That wouldn't help us. Or you know what I mean? Or the Brighton game.
Tuesday,
yeah,
Thursday,
I'm saying. So right. So I mean, I just hope they figure out a way. I'm not really I don't really think Premier League cares about clubs like ours as far as rescheduling. So it's not going to be ideal. To me, the best solution is to add on, is just extend the season a few weeks. It won't hurt anybody on any major competition this summer. Am I wrong? Is there something this? Oh, the year? No, what's that?
There's nothing on. We're gonna actually.
Yeah, there is
this summer.
The thing that England got knocked out of already.
EuroLeague. No, not the EuroLeague. I know it. Nations League.
The Nations League's got to be this summer, right? So but we're not in it, England. So it's not going to affect. My point is,
still in it. They're still in it. They're still in it for now.
They're out.
Then,
so from that standpoint, that would be definitely the summer to extend the season by a couple of weeks has to be a solution. Again, jamming in games is just not fair to the players, not fair to the fans, not fair to the clubs. So, but we'll see.
You know what? I was thinking about this as well. Monty said it might be a blessing in disguise after talking about the transfer disaster.
Listen,
I would have said it's a disaster, but even before the postponements, we were talking about what was it, 11 games?
Yeah. Now it's less.
Opens.
It's gonna be at
now
9.
It's 9. It should be 9 games.
Right.
Which I know, like the 9 games, that's talking about 27 points, but it helps us in that aspect as well. Is if we need to go and get a new player in January, fine, we can wait 9 more games and get it. It's not like we've got from September to January loads of games. The season basically stops in the middle of November.
And Dee, you know, everybody complaining about why do we go to Australia and Singapore? Now they're gonna have a month together. No excuses.
That was very lucky.
But I'm saying to that same point though. Yeah, end up being lucky, but it's gonna end up working out, right? You're gonna have players together now for a month extending, except for guys, international players. For a month is a long time to be together with no matches. So you can't complain about they're having a chance to bond. I mean, Chelsea and then Leeds United, Leicester, we should be, as far as bonding, should not be a problem because they'd have played together or been together for over a month and a half, honestly. So that shouldn't be a problem. So,
what did he do this weekend, by the way? Did you watch the football? Because I actually watched the European football and I actually enjoyed it. I watched the La Liga. I watched the Barcelona game.
Do you know where I live? Do you know where I live?
Yeah, I do know
in America. Right. So in America. So I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a big NFL started this weekend. I did watch one.
So you decided to watch the irrelevant sports. Okay, fair enough.
No, I watched it anyway. So for me, I wasn't missing anything. Not irrelevant. That's very rude, by the way. I mean,
I'm joking.
I did watch. I watched La Liga. And I watched. That was it. I didn't watch anything. I watched the Real Madrid game, and that was it. But I normally would have watched it anyway if I could fit it in. But as far as missing football, listen, we do a lot of content on there. I've been watching football for 50-something years. I could miss a weekend and not like it wasn't killing me. Yeah, it really wasn't. One weekend of no football wasn't.
I had a lot of things to do, and
exactly. I'm lucky that way. Life kind of goes on, you know.
Exactly.
So. But I get people who love football. I got no problem with that. So.
Yeah, I watch La Liga. I'll be honest, I don't really watch European football like that. And I watch, it was mainly La Liga that I watch. And I can't lie, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed looking at the way that VAR works over there. Even like the TV graphics, they don't see it in the Premier League.
Well, doesn't it everywhere else, doesn't it?
Yeah,
works well in Europe, doesn't it? Weird.
No. Saying that, I was watching a Barcelona game. and there was literally a clear and obvious decision that the VAR didn't pick up. I was thinking if that was in the Premier League right now, that'll be in like the front in the newspapers immediately. Like they'll be talking about it. So it's not only the Premier League that's bad in terms of officiating. I saw it in Spain as well this weekend, even though the football was good. But let's move on to the second subject as well. And that's about Tyrick Mitchell. Look, Patrick, me and you was debating it, but earlier on today,
you sure you want to bring this up right now in front of all these people? You sure you want to bring this point up right now? You sure about this?
It's not about a point. So there was a news that came out that Tyrick Mitchell.
It was fake news, by the way. It wasn't even real.
I want to go fake news. Let me just explain it. Tyrick Mitchell has agreed a new long-term deal to stay at the club. That came out from the Beautiful Game podcast. That is a reliable source because they've got connections to a lot of pros. They do have a lot of pros on their channel as well in their podcast. So it's not like a source, it's not just like any other podcast that posted it. And they managed to delete it a few hours later.
Oh, very reliable. So much they deleted it.
No, there could be various reasons for that. There could be that the person who gave them the news didn't want them to post it in the first place, and then later on they found out and they told them to delete it. There could be various news about that. But Patrick, he signed a new contract last year, Tyrick Mitchell, until 2025.
Correct.
Would it be surprising to see him get a new deal just after signing the contract last year? Because he has played for England. He is our main left back. We've seen his value so far this season as well. No. You're saying that it wouldn't be sensible business by the club?
It would make, we've been texting back and forth all afternoon. It makes no sense. His value has not gone up since signing a new contract. All right, let me. You asked me a question. Let me finish it. You can jump in. A typical Dee Patrick argument coming up, by the way. So tune in or stay tuned. So he just had the new contract. We didn't get into Europe. He capped 3 England caps. There has not been one major rumor of him moving to a top 6 club or into Europe. Why would Palace say, okay, let's give you a new contract again? That makes no sense, business sense. Now, if you're talking about like a Mark Gahey possibly, who just signed last year, you realize his value has gone up tremendously. Tottenham was already linked with him. I'd say, yeah, but Tyrick Mitchell? I love Tyrick Mitchell. But he just signed a contract. Why would you sign him to another contract? To me, it makes... He's not Wilf. Now, you talk about... In our argument, you talk about how Wilf just signed several one-year contracts. He's Wilf. Wilf is like the GOAT of Palace. So him signing a one-year contract or new contract, it makes total sense. I love Tyrick, but he just signed. There's no... Unless I'm missing something, there's no reason for Tyrick to go in there and say, oh, by the way, I want a new contract. There's no reason. And for us to sign him to a new contract, because he's done nothing in a year that makes him deserve a new contract. He doesn't. Well,
he has done something. He's become an England international.
I mentioned that.
International. That increases his value. That does increase his value. You talk about 2 free caps.
Debatable, by the way. That's debatable.
That's not debatable. We've seen it with English tax, with players, that when you play for England, your value goes up straight away.
Did anybody come into him after he got the England caps? Did anybody come in and put the window just closed? Did Tottenham, Chelsea, did I miss it? To Chelsea, anybody come in for him?
No, but we can't do that. We can't do that.
Yeah, you can. That's how you judge
Patrick,
it.
Interest. What I'm saying is you don't know that if anyone's coming, because we mentioned the same thing on the Transfer Deadline Day show, that not every inquiry out there means that it's going to be spread on the news. You don't know if teams have come in and just said we're interested.
You would have heard something. No,
but all right.
I heard nothing about Tyrick leaving.
Okay, but what Palace could easily say no, just no. If that's the case, then why would he hear something? Because we don't have another left back. It could have just been like that, just like we're talking about with midfielders. Palace could have just said no. And second of all, he's one of the youngest players in the squad. We've seen it with Wilf get a contract 3 years in a row. It's not impossible. I don't think this is... He could sign a new contract with better terms. He deserves a new contract because we've seen the importance of Tyrick Mitchell at the side.
No,
without
Tyrick
Mitchell, Tyrick Mitchell, we've got no one left back, so he can use that leverage. He's played for England over this past year, so that's another bonus for him. Signing a new contract doesn't mean he has to earn 50k more. It can just be his clauses improve, such as international appearances. If he makes a certain amount of international appearances, then he gets a bit more money in terms of bonuses. So it doesn't mean that he signed the contract, so everything has improved. He's now multi-millionaire and he's earning minimum wage before. That isn't the case. It's just that he can sign a new deal, and that new deal could reflect on his true value at the club, which it has changed over the past year.
When he signed his contract, we didn't have a backup left back then. So that argument makes no sense. We had no backup left back when he signed the first contract.
No, but then we still had... But Adam Roller last year was playing. Adam Roller last year was playing for us. There was more of a backup. And now we've seen his worth more.
From a business sense, as an owner, there is zero chance that you're going to say, okay, Tyrick, I gave you a new contract. Here's a new one. Because then you're going to have every single player knocking down the door. Players who are better, Mark Gahey, Anderson, Olise, knocking the door down to say, okay, well, where's my new contract? Again, if Tyrick, if I heard one decent rumor, just one that said, okay, Tottenham wanted him, Chelsea, I said, I'm scared he might be leaving. There's no one in for him. There's no point.
No, but you have to realize, even if he signed a new contract last year, that value in terms of like weekly wages, it might not reflect in terms of what others are earning. You're talking about if Tyrick signed a new contract, everyone else comes in. No, everyone else can't come in because let's say Mark Gahey, I'm saying hypothetically right now, let's say Mark Gahey earns 80k a week and Tyrick Mitchell's new deal was only 24k a week. Tyrick deserves to be on at least 50k. That he's very devalued compared to other players. Now, Mark Gay can't come in and say you gave a new contract to Tyrick Mitchell, I want a new one, or Joachim Anderson. Maybe there might be one or two players, but in general, it doesn't mean that it's going to open the door for everyone else to come in for a new contract. It just depends on the player in itself. If Tyrick is not getting enough money, or if there's clauses in his contract that doesn't reflect his true value, then that could be adjusted accordingly. Because even if Mark Gay comes in, you can say to Mark, well, Tyrick, this has happened. He's been at the club for this long. We offered this, and we don't believe that you deserve a new contract. So getting Tyrick, I get what you're trying to say, but just giving a new deal to Tyrick doesn't mean it's bad business. That's what I just don't agree on, because you're basically... if you're saying that Tyrick doesn't have potential to grow as a player, if you're saying that Tyrick hasn't grown as a player in the past year...
that.
Okay, he's still young. He's still young. So you can reflect on his true potential by giving him that deal.
No, you're looking at it from an Arsenal standpoint, from a Palace standpoint. That's not how Palace do business. We've never done that. The only person you ever mentioned was Wilf. We've never given a guy a contract 1 year and next year gave him another contract based on England caps. There's no reason for it, D. There is no... I mean, Wilf is a side. Wilf is a totally different thing. There's no chance. He's on 1.4 million now a year. We think it was only 800,000. He probably got a massive raise. You can't give it. You can't. And he's probably I guarantee he's probably one of our highest paid defenders. I'm sure he is. I'm sure obviously he's behind Anderson and Gay, but he's probably making as much as...
But if I'm Tyrick's agent, if I'm Tyrick's agent, that's how I'm thinking though. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I honestly no. If he hadn't signed a contract last year, I would say yeah. No. If it was 2 years ago, possibly. Not a year ago. A year ago, there's no way I'm going to go in there and say that. What is it, John?
Let's say he does agree to. Let's say he does agree to better terms of his contract, and he gets a better deal. Would you be upset with that? Because you said that it would be bad business.
No, of course not. I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't see the reason why Palace would do that. Because I'm telling you, once Palace do that, the door's going to be knocking. Anderson, Gahey, Elise, they're all... Eze's going to... When Eze signed 2 years ago, he did a new contract. Now that he's proven that he's back to health. You think he's knocking down Patrick's door and saying I need a new contract too? Nah, man. If you do that, you open up a whole can of worms, man. It's not worth it. Not for Tyrick Mitchell. And I love Tyrick. I'm serious. It's not worth it. I can't see his agent doing that. I really can't. So again, if I'm proven wrong and this comes out that his thing, I'll come on the show whenever we do it and I'll apologize. I don't see, there's no logic to it business-wise. Football-wise, possibly business-wise, there's no logic to this. Why give a guy a contract who just gave a contract a year ago? When again, we didn't qualify for Europa League, finished top 6 for Champions League.
We went to the semi-final of their pickup.
No. Agree. And you'll admit that you thought he played really poor in that game. You don't want to complain that he's playing the wing-back game and he gave the ball away.
You know he was at fault in that game. He was at fault.
Vieira's tackles were at fault. Right. But again, I just can't see it. But again, let's see.
Look, agreeing a new deal could also mean this. If they're up in this release clause, I can see it. I don't know if Tyrick has a release clause.
I don't think he has a release clause.
I'm just saying. Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's so many aspects of a contract than just his
wages. Honestly, that would make sense. But I don't think he has a release clause. That would make sense.
No. Okay, let's say he doesn't have a release clause. But what I'm trying to say is, I still don't think it's a bad deal, because unless it's directly like money involved in terms of Tyrick now going to earn from 25k to 80k. I don't know if Tyrick has improved that much in the past year in terms of doubling his contract. But it could be some simple things such as clauses. If it's clauses, it still makes new sense. That's still a new contract agreement. It doesn't just have to be his directly weekly wages. But look, that's how I see it. That's how you see it, Patrick, as well. For me, I wouldn't be too upset. I still think it makes sense for the club to give him a new deal based on the past year. He's now England international, and I honestly don't know exactly how much he's on. But if you're looking at other players at the club, and if he's
your whole thing is England, and I get that. Is he going to the World Cup?
I don't know if he's going to the World Cup.
He's got no chance. No chance. Current form, the shortness of the fact it's in November, the fact that there are plenty of players ahead of him. Chilwell's back, by the way. Chilwell was, there's no chance. So based on 3 England caps, were they even World Cup caps? No, there was no Nation League games, right? And the friendly. So I just do not see England caps being the reason why you give him a new contract.
You just underestimate English tax. You highly underestimate it. England caps.
No, there's an English tax, my friend,
like,
when you're selling a player to a club in Europe that wants, needs to get the numbers for the Europa League or Champions League. There's no English tax just because you have an English player on your books. There's not English tax for that. You're not doing that.
Yeah,
if he gets sold, you sell him. Grealish,
but
obviously, blah blah.
But then you're looking at other players. You're looking at other players and what they earn. For me, I look. You're talking about wages though. That's what I'm saying. You don't like. It's not just about his wages. His contract. You can agree to a new long-term deal. You can agree to a new long-term deal without.
I think the best argument you have was the comment about the release clause. If it's for a release clause, then I'm all for it.
No, but it's not just release clause. It's about.
There's no other reason then to give someone a raise for no reason.
International appearances, but it's not. Signing a new contract doesn't mean everything just gets raised.
He won't get nothing anytime soon.
Okay. But I'm
Clip
saying,
it. Just for example, he won't get anything. So for me, he's not even international. He played 3 games. Big deal.
No. Okay. Forget about England. Okay. He could get higher bonus for assists. He looks better going forward. It might be that. He might.
I know signing the contract already.
That
might be the contract now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It could improve. Like there's clauses in his contract. When you talk about contract, it's not just money literally involved. It's not just wages going up. There's clauses, there's bonuses that can improve.
My point is,
that the club can fix on.
What has he done for you to be? If this, my question.
In a year.
No, wait.
We see it, Patrick.
This is my question. Wait, listen to my question.
No.
Had this not come out today, would you say today, Tyrick get a new contract? Yeah, if that hadn't come out of the room, would you have said that? Oh, Tyrick, that's a great idea. Would you honestly say that? Had that not come out of the podcast? Tweet
with contracts, I don't know who should have got a new contract. If you're looking at it like that, if I thought about contracts, Eze could be, but
now, Will,
but
Eze, Olise, Gehi, sign those four
now,
first.
But Patrick, right now, there's more of a reason to give him a new deal because he's the only left back that we have.
He has a contract, my friend, for the next 4 years. There's no reason to give him another contract. Will's off next year. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's more guys that I want to sign before him. He's got a 4-year contract. There's no point. He's got 4 more years, D. Not like he's got 4 years left.
Yes,
nah, man,
yes,
nah.
and yes, and there's
we signed left back today, buddy. We signed left back today for the academy. Did you see that?
Yeah, for the academy, but that's not going to be Tyrick Mitchell's rival, is it? Honestly,
in 2 years it might be. You never know.
In 2 years, exactly. In 2 years, but if Tyrick's happy, then I'm happy because I feel like if a new contract agreement, a club are not dumb as well. It's not like if you give a new contract, it's bad business. They know what they're doing. So
I'll be honest with you, if they sign another contract, they're dumb. I'm saying if they sign another contract, yes, they are.
You can't
if
say
they do that, they're dumb. Can it make some financial sense? It doesn't.
What do you mean it makes
no
financial sense?
We don't know. He just signed 4 years.
We don't. No, but
it doesn't
Patrick,
make any sense.
But Patrick, you don't even know what exactly they're improving in his contract. It does make sense.
There are other players who need to be locked up before Tyrick. Tyrick's here for 4 more years. Sign Olise, sign Wilf, sign Eze, sign Gehi,
it's not as simple
Anderson.
as you say. Maybe Olise doesn't want to sign a new contract. Maybe Olise doesn't want to sign a new contract.
Sign Vicente. You don't have to sign. He doesn't. He's way down on the list. He just got a new contract. You don't need to sign him. And I love Tyrick. He's good. Are you his agent? Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's good. He's good right now. Contract.
Tyrick Mitchell's agent. Yeah, I am his agent.
Wait. AJ. There you go. Wilf is the biggest shirt seller in the club and one of our better players, right? But he doesn't have a contract. But we're going to give Tyrick one.
But Patrick, it's not a case of you make it seem so simple. Like you can't sign contracts with different players. It's not like we have to pick between Wilf and Tyrick.
I agree. But if the and just sign one, I'd be all for it. Give him a 10-year. He just signed one last year. Let's prioritize the guys who are got out of contract.
How do you know that we're not working on it? How do you know that we're not working on it?
I didn't say we are. I'm just saying that.
People saying Olise, for example. People saying Olise. But how do you know, like, with Olise, with Tyrick's contract, first of all, was it a club that went to him? Was it his agent? You'd think it's his agent, right? Because he just signed a new deal.
Maybe it's a made-up story altogether. Maybe it's because they deleted the tweet. That could be it too.
It could be, but I truly don't believe it's made up.
Right.
I think there must be something there. There must be in talks at least. Maybe he hasn't signed a new deal, but there must be in talks at least. And the club are clearly entertaining it for that to be released. Unless it was like an unreliable source completely, then fair enough.
Right.
But there's something definitely in the works here. And I remember, I think it was the Wan-Bissaka situation like time ago. There were in talks for about like months, and then afterwards it got announced. So they could be in talks, and maybe this doesn't get mentioned now. Maybe later on down the line, maybe in December we're talking about it during the World Cup. Tyrick Mitchell signs a new contract extension. It could happen then. The talks could start now, and we don't know with Elise. Maybe that's happening as well. Like, it doesn't mean that just because we signed Tyrick, we can't sign Will. Like, you can work on multiple contracts at the same time. That's how
but you have to prioritize, and me, he's not.
I'm pretty sure there's more than one person at the club working on like contract. Like, I'm pretty sure they can work on contracts at the same time. Like, it doesn't just have to be one at the same one in the go. Because we literally signed this summer. Was it this summer? Was it last summer that we signed like 5 new contract extensions with like Tompkins, Klein, and stuff? So you can see that
all got 1 year deals, right?
Exactly. You can see that the club can work on like at least 4 to 5 players at the same time. So, you know, with our most important players, 3 players, I don't think it should be that big of a problem to work on contracts. But look, that's it from today. Of course, we came back with the Brighton game postponement news and Tyrick Mitchell. We'll see if he signs a new contract. That rumor did get mentioned today. Of course, nothing has officially been confirmed. But saying that, Palace have most recently over the years, especially during the season, they've been quiet with announcing contract extensions. So
that is true.
You never know. It doesn't make our job easier. Maybe sign a new contract, maybe they're in talks, but we thought we'll talk about it anyways. Look, that's it from us today. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let us know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the Brighton game postponement and Tyrick Mitchell's new contract situation. Do you think it's sensible or bad business? Let us know. And until next time, up the Palace.